Toy Story. I love Toy Story. When I was a kid, Toy Story was the greatest thing ever. You know, before I watched Star Wars and after the Winnie the Pooh phase, but that's not what's important right now. What's important is that I adored Toy Story, but more specifically, Buzz Lightyear. The Toy Story trilogy is among the best animated movies of all time, and maybe the fourth one too. I don't know, I haven't seen it yet. But when I was a kid, I didn't care about the whole quality filmmaking thing. I just thought Buzz Lightyear was the greatest thing ever. I was obsessed. Look, here's the classic toy. Here's some little figurines. Here's a photo of me with this Buzz Lightyear bubble blower that I'm going to regret putting out on the internet. I even had this little tent that looked like a spaceship. It is no longer in very good condition. I got all covered in blue stuff. Gross. The point is that I was obsessed. So when you told me there was a 2D animated solo Buzz Lightyear movie where Tim Allen reprises his role about Buzz's time as a space ranger, you know that little me would think that's just about the greatest thing of all time. Just kind of ignore the ripped cover. This was my favorite movie as a little kid. But does it hold up now?
But Buzz...
What's eating them?
I've seen this before. It's the mind link.
Evil...
Zurg.
His dark forces invade our homeworld!
I'm on my way.
No. No, it does not. So apparently this movie serves as basically a pilot for a TV show that I really had no idea existed until a couple years ago. I have never seen this show and cannot verify on whether or not it is actually good or not. But if this movie is anything to go by, it's probably not. So I'm going to watch this movie one last time, with all of you, together. Let's start suffering. So the movie opens with a scene of the whole gang from Toy Story opening a VHS of the movie we're about to watch. This scene is just 2 minutes of Rex screaming, as not Tom Hanks' Woody just puts the tape in. It was always weird to me watching this movie on a DVD and then they show it a tape in the movie. I don't know why. The scene is weird and not very good. It's oddly meta. We then actually start the movie and it opens with narration from Buzz giving an exposition dump, because, yeah, of course it does. Anyways, Buzz explains that him and his partner are looking for little green men, and also Zurg. You know, these guys and this guy. He then, says the thing.
We'll find and rescue these little green men, even if we must go to infinity and beyond.
Yeah, I get used to hearing that. They say it a lot. We then cut to a planet, and I'll mention now that the one thing I actually really like about this movie is its aesthetic. I don't really know why I like it or what to compare it to, I just really like it. Every planet, mostly every character design, and even a little bit of the sound design, I just like it. That love does not extend to the writing of this movie, but the aesthetic is something I really like. Anyways, so Buzz and his partner are just zooming around this planet when they discover 3 LGMs stowed away in the back of their car. Also, apparently they're telepathic, which is definitely something I first thought of when I saw these guys in the first Toy Story. Anyways, Buzz claims that Zurg is on his planet, and his buddy, whose name is Warp Dark Matter or something like that, I don't know, I don't care anymore, doesn't think so because Buzz is just paranoid. Then they fight the Rishi eels from the Clone Wars, the things that killed Cut Up. Which, after making this reference, I am sad, because instead of watching this shitty movie, I could be watching the Clone Wars, or literally anything else. Anyway, so the LGMs are dumb, and they just kind of wander around this active battle zone until this horrifying monstrosity straight from my childhood nightmares shows up. Buzz and Warp just tie it up and crush it on some rocks or something, doesn't really matter, and it's revealed that Zurg really was here. Who knew? We then cut to the inside of the base, where these little brain guys and this little bug dude are torturing the missing LGMs that Buzz and Warp were looking for, and they just kind of whine for a little bit until Zurg shows up, who's voiced by Wayne Knight, who played Al in Toy Story 2, and these guys, shows up and tortures them some more. Apparently he's looking for something the LGMs have called a Unimind, which the LGMs explained to Buzz and Warp, which apparently Buzz knew but neglected to tell Warp, which is weird because these little guys are everywhere. You'd think they would have told Warp about it. Or the LGMs would have, because it's not exactly a secret. Buzz and Warp eventually make their way through the base where they free the LGMs, threaten Zurg, and fight some robots. Zurg sets to self-destruct during his escape, and Warp dies in the explosion. In response to this, Buzz just kind of mopes around for a little while, claiming he works alone from now on, until the General of Star Command calls in Buzz to look at some of the new recruits. They're in the middle of training against some robots, and the General ramps up the difficulty where the robots kick the rookies' asses. Except for this blue lady, which the General wants to be Buzz's new partner, which he of course refuses to take. Also, apparently the blue lady is a princess from a planet that Buzz saved from Zurg a while back, which is just kinda glossed over and never really mentioned again, except for a few passing sarcastic remarks. It also sounds like a way more interesting story than the one we're watching. We then cut to the Janitor Booster, who's just kind of the worst. He sneaks into the hangar where he's not supposed to be, just a fangirl over the ships, where he inevitably gets caught by some guard until Buzz bails him out. Buzz claims he's there to clean out subatomic dust with his molecular mop, and there is so much stupid in that statement that I don't even know where to begin with it. Anyway, so Booster wants to be a space ranger someday, and he regards Buzz as some kind of god, much like child me. We then cut back to Zurg, who's in the middle of overseeing the creation of some kind of super soldier who's basically just Boba Fett. Zurg christens him Agent Z, which everyone thinks is a dumb name, and Zurg sends a balloon drone to go find the aforementioned Unimind on the LGM's homeworld. It eventually finds the Unimind where the LGMs are worshipping it like it's the second coming of Christ. We then go back to the LGMs of Star Command, who have taken it upon themselves to build Buzz a robotic partner, which he doesn't want, which they christen XR. He's a learning AI in him, which has never gone wrong in fiction, so he can watch Buzz and learn from him. Apparently he's also indestructible, so they immediately decimate him and rebuild him. The LGMs then have a collective seizure, and Buzz and XR rush to the LGM planet. On the LGM planet, an actual genocide is taking place, where Zurg is trying to take the Unimind. To combat this, the LGMs build a mind shield to try and repel Zurg's army, which immediately fails. In seconds. I really don't know what they were trying to do here. Buzz and XR eventually show up and just kind of dick around, fight some robots for a while, until Agent Z shows up and they have their little shootout or whatever. Buzz tries to sneak around and flank Agent Z by leaving his gun on a roof to distract him, and then this happens.
They never see this coming, huh?
Saw it coming.
Also, Z kills XR, and this happens.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
That was a lot funnier in my head. Anyway, so the Unimind is taken and the LGMs are all messed up. Zurg then rants about his plan to enslave the universe by corrupting the Unimind and then using it, but I don't know, his staff is incompetent, and then he just does the corrupting himself. Why does he keep them around? He just does everything himself anyways. So the LGMs are all dumb because the Unimind isn't uniting them or whatever, and then they rebuild XR as best they can. He's all weird and quirky, so they banish him to go jack off with Booster for a while. We then go to the rest of the Space Rangers in the conference room, and by that, I mean they just all kind of sit there while Buzz the General and Mira Nova, who's the princess from before, argue for a little while. The General just wants to launch a full assault on Zurg, and Mira just wants to go in a little stealth ship by herself. Buzz, however, wants to do the ship idea himself, which Mira doesn't like. This just goes on for a while, so in the meantime, Booster and XR are bored of their jobs, so they go sneak into Buzz's ship so Booster can fantasize about being Buzz and so XR can look at porn. I really wish that was a joke. Back at Planet Z, or whatever the base is, I don't care anymore. Zurg has built a big laser beam to use the Unimind or whatever, and inevitably the slave guys put the batteries in backwards because this movie hates me. Back at Star Command, Buzz catches Mira sneaking into the stealth ship while he was also trying to sneak into the ship. So in response to this, Mira just puts Buzz in a coma. When he inevitably comes to, he gets in the ship to go catch her, and the General's unusually nonchalant about the fact they were trying to steal a ship. I don't know why he had a problem with it earlier if he just kind of like, yeah, okay, you're gonna steal valuable prototype technology, that's fine. So Buzz decides to get in his own ship to go catch her. It's the same one that these two idiots are hanging out in. And we cut back to Zurg, who has decided to possess the planet of the vegetarians as a test for his Unimind beam. I don't know what the point of anything is anymore. So while Zurg is off enslaving entire civilizations, Buzz just kinda dicks around chasing Mira. Inevitably he catches her, and together they find Booster and XR hanging out in the back. While this happens, Zurg just kind of decides to enslave Star Command, so in a heroic act of bravery, Buzz just kinda runs away from everything. And they just kinda take the enslaved and push them somewhere else. Get it? It's funny because it's a SpongeBob meme. They inevitably get into Buzz's ship and then are shot down by Star Command, ending the movie there, with our heroes all dead and the entire universe enslaved by Zurg. The end. I only wish it ended there. Buzz and everybody else snuck into the stealth ship, which was on that ship, and they went to Planet Z. So on the way there, they run away from these little triangle things, and then Booster accidentally hits the water landing button, and then they crash, giving us an obligatory weather balloon joke.
That
That's not a spacecraft. It's obviously a weather balloon.
Let's go with the rain, shall we?
On Planet Z, Buzz tries to kick the crew off the planet. There's a weird and really long conversation about nose rings. I don't like it. It just makes me uncomfortable.
Because nose rings are for punks, little mister.
Well, if you can take on Zurg alone, I don't see why XR can't get a nose ring.
I was just asking a question. I'm not the one getting a nose ring.
Then who's getting a nose ring? That's why Buzz wants to ditch us.
So Buzz just kind of goes and attacks Zurg Tower and is inevitably captured. We then get the big reveal that Agent Z is Buzz's long-lost partner. You know, the guy who exploded at the very beginning of this movie that no one remembered? Yeah, that guy. He gives his backstory, it's whatever, and then Zurg decides to go and possess Buzz. Buzz then sends a secret message by disguising it as a mission log, and everyone is still an idiot. It's like Zurg isn't even trying. Anyways, the crew comes to save Buzz. So Zurg prepares to zap the planet of widows and orphans, and force Buzz to watch before he enslaves him as well. And then the gang shows up, and they just yeet Booster at Agent Z to stop him. Buzz and Zurg fight for a little while, and then the gang shows up to help them. They defeat Zurg with the power of teamwork or whatever. They capture Z and Zurg, and then they attempt to turn the Unimind good again, so they just shove Buzz into it, and it works. The LGMs become smart again. There's a generic message about friendship and teamwork or whatever, and then they rip off the victory scene from A New Hope, and then it ends. It seems like I got a way quicker pace as I went on, but so did the movie. Anyways, so that's 90 minutes I will never get back. Yeah, so that's the movie. Is it good? No, it's really not. But is it the worst thing ever made? No. It's not good, but it's really not awful. I haven't seen the show that followed this, but if this movie is anything to base off of, it's probably not worth seeing. So this movie's not god-awful, but it's not worth seeing. But I loved it as a kid, but less so now as a man-child adult. So that about wraps this video up as well. You should like the video and subscribe because I need emotional reassurance from faceless people on the internet. Anyways, bye.